You think James Bond is flawless, unbreakable, the definition of cool. Wrong. Daniel Craig, our very own 007, is basically a walking list of bizarre fears and self-destructive habits. Stay tuned, because by the end, you'll realise the only person who can defeat Bond is Bond himself.
Fear number 1. Bond versus Bond. Here's the irony. The man who is James Bond was terrified of being trapped as James Bond forever. After Spectre in 2015, when asked if he'd return, Craig flat out said, "I'd rather slash my wrists." Not exactly the suave answer the studio wanted. He later explained it was exhaustion talking, but the fear was real, that he'd never escape the tuxedo. Bond was his breakout role, and also his prison. And if being Bond was scary, actually playing Bond was even more painful, literally.
Fear number 2. Injury magnet. Craig holds the record for the most beat-up Bond in history. In Casino Royale 2006, he got 2 teeth knocked out. In Quantum of Solace 2008, he sliced off part of his finger and dislocated his shoulder. Then in Spectre 2015, he tore his knee ligament. By No Time to Die, the running joke was that he should get top billing alongside his orthopedic surgeon. Craig himself joked, "Every time I put on the suit, I'm preparing for the hospital." So yeah, the man could fight villains, but not staircases. And believe it or not, what really scared him wasn't the stunts, it was the fans.
Fear number 3. Red carpet anxiety. Imagine facing down Javier Bardem in Skyfall without blinking, but sweating bullets on the red carpet. That's Craig. At the London premiere of Skyfall in 2012, he admitted that the flashing cameras and screaming fans gave him pure anxiety. Quote, "It's a duty, not a joy." Translation, Bond's kryptonite is basically paparazzi. Okay, fears are one thing, but what about his habits? Because trust me, some of these sound less like Bond and more like Bond's villains.
Bad number 1. Smoking like old school Bond. Before Casino Royale, Daniel Craig was basically a professional cigarette tester. He could chain smoke between takes and still strut on the beach like it was a runway. Rumour has it, even Blofeld sighed, "Could you chew gum instead?" But to get those famous abs, Craig had to quit. Picture James Bond puffing away, thrilling for fans, slightly terrifying for health-conscious humans. You know who smoked almost as much as Bond? Adele! No joke. Don't believe me? Click the video I've tagged in the top right corner, or stick around until the end of this video. You'll see her crazy habits and fears in full. Back to Daniel Craig. When cigarettes weren't enough to blow off steam, Craig had another trick: disappear. Bad number 2, going full ghost. When stressed, Craig could vanish like a ninja. Phone off, messages ignored, radio silence. Friends called him cold. I call it introvert goals on steroids. Basically, Daniel Craig invented real-life aeroplane mode. And when he wasn't disappearing, he was punishing himself in the gym harder than Le Chiffre at a poker table. Bad number 3, workaholic torture. Craig doesn't do light workouts. Trainer Simon Waterson said he trained 2 to 3 times a day. Extreme dieting, brutal lifting. He'd turned Bond training into medieval torture. Honestly, watching him was scarier than the torture chair in Casino Royale. Of course, if you torture yourself that much, eventually you're bound to snap.
Bad number 4, license to swear. Craig is brutally blunt.
In 2015, when asked if he'd return as Bond, he shot back, "I'd rather slash my wrists." Yikes! Reporters never knew if they were interviewing James Bond or Jason Statham having a bad day. Bond has a license to kill. Craig has a license to curse. And when words weren't enough, he let the drinks do the talking. Bad 5. Drinking like Bond. Yes, he actually drank martinis to relieve stress. Life imitating art, or maybe art imitating life. Either way, by the end of a shoot, Craig was basically a walking cocktail shaker. You start to wonder, who's really James Bond? The character or the actor? And when he wasn't drinking like Bond, he was spending like
Bad #6 champagne lifestyle. Craig admitted he splurged on cars, watches, wine, basically everything in Bond's starter pack. After marrying Rachel Weisz in 2011, he chilled out a bit. But once you've driven an Aston Martin, a Toyota Corolla just doesn't cut it. Think these habits are wild? That's just the tip of the iceberg. Let's check out the weirdness ranking, from slightly shocking to downright bizarre.
Rank number 9. Smoking addiction. Not shocking. Even M would roll her eyes. Rank number 8. Drinking vodka martinis. Research purposes only. Must try to believe. Rank number 7. Lavish spending. Not weird, just a normal Tuesday for Bond. Rank number 6. Disappearing under stress. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to vanish. Real-life stealth mode. Ghost Protocol Craig edition. Rank number 5. Fear of crowds. Sweats more at premieres than in Skyfall. Rank number 4. Sharp tongue and swearing. License to curse. Coming soon to theaters. Rank number 3. Workaholic punishment. Training harder than Le Chiffre's poker face. Craig basically tortured himself more than any Bond villain could. Rank number 2. Fear of being Bond. The spy who feared himself. That's a twist worthy of No Time to Die. And rank 1. Injury magnet. More damage than the torture chair in Casino Royale. Yet he keeps coming back for sequels. So, there it is, Daniel Craig Unmasked. A man who smoked, cursed, drank, vanished, spent recklessly, feared crowds, feared Bond, and battled his knees more than villains. Which habit shocked you the most? Or do you know any other weird habits or secret fears of Daniel Craig we missed? Drop a comment below. 007 can't escape real life forever.